Of the extended live American football, cricket highlights.
Good evening and welcome to Sabina Park in Kingston, Jamaica, for what was always going to be an exciting opening day in this first test match between England and the West Indies. But no one in their wildest dreams could have imagined quite how sensational it would turn out to be. From the moment England arrived here, there were worries about the state of the pitch, and so before play began, we sent Michael Holding down to investigate.
Thanks, Jonathan. Well, we have got a brand new pitch out here. Brand new in the sense of it being recently relayed. But if you look on the surface, you will see that it is not as even as you would like it to be. There are quite a few bare areas. This area, there was grass here, but it has been rolled into the surface. But if you look just about here, you'll see tufts of grass just sticking up. That implies that this area just might be a bit lower than this particular area. It's even worse out here. You can see the grass here, lots of grass. This is almost like it's in a valley. But this particular area should not be brought into play. It's pretty wide of off stump. All in all, I think the team that wins the toss wants to bat first. This pitch might be unpredictable, but it should be better batting first.
Bob Willis was present for the toss.
Michael Atherton's called a tail, and it's rolled a long way away. International referee Barry Jarman has come down tails. Michael, what are you going to do?
We're going to have a bat this morning.
Some late team changes for you.
Yeah, Jack Russell's been ill all night and he's not fit, so Mark Butcher comes in, Alex Stewart's wicket-keeping.
And how's the confidence of the team? You had some interrupted preparation, a lot of wasted time in Antigua.
Yeah, but since we've been in Jamaica, you know, the preparations have gone well. We've had good practice facilities, we've played well in our warm-up games, so everybody's confident, looking forward to the match.
And what's your batting order going to be now you've won the toss?
Myself and Alex Stewart are going first.
There's been an awful lot of talk about this Sabina Park pitch. What do you make of it, Brian?
I think that you got to wait and see. First of all, I must say I have not seen it for a long time with a bit of grass on it. There is some places with grass, and it's a bit unusual. But I think you got to wait and see. Both teams got to play in it, and I think at the end of the day, the better team would always come out on top.
Are you prepared to say that you would have batted had you won the toss?
No, I think I would have bowled first because, as I said, it's a bit unusual to see it in this state, and I'd like to see what the ball do while we're in the field before we go into bat. So I think Michael Atherton has chosen to bat, and I would have chosen to bowl.
Although Russell was unable to play, Adam Holyoke passed a fitness test and was scheduled to make his first appearance in a Caribbean Test match. For the West Indies, Mervyn Dillon was injured in the warm-up, believe it or not, and Franklin Rose was omitted. That still left 4 fast bowlers, not that they had all been needed. So the stage was set for a remarkable session of cricket. We joined play in the first over. Mike Atherton has already put 2 on the board and he's facing Courtney Walsh.
Well, there's already a question mark about the bounce there. Walsh coming in fairly gently in this first over, but just have a look at this bounce. Atherton expecting the ball to come above waist height, having to drop the wrists on it. A lot of conjecture before the match about how this wicket would behave. Rather corrugated look to it. The ground staff have worked very hard to try and get those ripples out of the pitch, but not altogether successfully. And that's the alternative. One keeping low and one bouncing. Michael Holding's alongside me. What do you make of that, Michael?
Well, I think that's pretty much what people expected, Bob. People have expected this pitch to behave awkwardly, and we're getting that very early in the piece. That one really took off.
And this one bounces twice before it gets through to David Williams, the West Indies wicket-keeper. Not great news for any batsman's confidence, this. Alex Stewart on his way. Long chase for Jimmy Adams from bat pad. 2 to Stewart and 2 to Atherton. Well, Stewart's rubbing his shoulder. Ambrose has got quite excited, but I don't think there's any question of Stewart being given out, but not what an opening batsman's looking for first up in a test match.
Not at all. That one really took off. Really took off, came back in at him and bounced a lot higher than Alex Stewart expected.
England physiotherapist Wayne Morton quickly onto the scene. Wayne Morton and the West Indies physio, Dennis Waite, could be busy men during this test match. And quite honestly, Michael, not the sort of surface we're looking for at the start of a test match and a very important match in the context of a 5-match series.
Not at all, Bob. I think this pitch certainly needs a lot to be has left a lot to be desired.
And taken in the gully. Showing Campbell the fielder, Atherton goes. Courtney Walsh has done the damage. That'll give the West Indies side an enormous lift after their disappointments in Pakistan, but they're back on track here. They've got rid of perhaps England's most important wicket. Michael Atherton on his way, just couldn't keep that ball down, and England lose their first wicket with just 4 runs on the scoreboard.
Well, this certainly will lift the West Indies, and especially Courtney Walsh. That ball, Atherton looking to try and leave it alone, and the ball just hitting the tip of the bat and carrying on the full to Sherwin Campbell. Took a good catch. It's 4 for 1.
Mark Butcher, who's had no cricket at all on this tour yet. One of the risks of having just 2 matches of preparation. Played against the Australians last summer. Played in 5 of the 6 test matches against Australia. Left-hander, that may be an advantage on this pitch, but it's going to be a very, very torrid baptism here for Mark Butcher. Just net practice. The end of Michael Atherton. Should really have left that ball, but just guiding it safely to Sherwin Campbell in the gully. Mark Butcher, big shout. He goes. First ball, Steve Buckner gives him out. Virtually impossible to play. Mark Butcher's first bat of the tour, and it's only lasted 1 delivery. This is looking like a lethal pitch, Michael.
It certainly is, Bob. Mark Butcher could do nothing about that delivery. Look at this. Reasonably good length, just took off, wrapped him on the glove, the top glove at that, and ballooned into the slip cordon. Well, certainly the bowlers will enjoy bowling on this. I'm not too sure about the batters, but this is a bowler's paradise, but certainly not what you expect at this level of the game.
Nasser Hussain in at number 4 for England. Well, Mark Butcher heard that he was playing about 40 minutes before the start of play. Tried to get himself mentally prepared for a long innings. It lasted just 1 ball. What a brute of a delivery that was.
How do you play deliveries like this? Impossible. Impossible.
Nasser Hussain on strike. Courtney Walsh on a hat-trick. Fires it down the leg side. What a waste. Courtney Walsh now level with Dennis Lillee in the wicket-taking greats. 355 test match wickets for Courtney Walsh. Playing in his 97th test match. Surely he'll make the century this series. He can't believe he's bowled that ball on a hat-trick. Gone fine down to long leg. We'll have to wait for umpire Buckner's signal. There is none, so Hussain's got off the mark. He'll retain the strike. The end of Walsh's second over. He's picked up both wickets. England registering just 5. That's a fine delivery from Ambrose.
Well, this is certainly one of Courtney Ambrose's strengths. Bowls a nice tidy line and doesn't give you too much to drive.
Courtney Walsh again from the Blue Mountains end. Alex Stewart on strike. He does very well there. Ball climbing again. Stewart steering it down so it bounces before the slip cordon. Back off the scene. There's a shout from Williams behind the stumps. Walsh joining in the appeal. Steve Buckner says most definitely not out.
And I think rightly so. Good movement off the seam, but the ball went right through. You could see the seam upright and going all the way through, remaining upright. If that had hit the edge, the seam would have wobbled to some degree.
207 of those 549 in that one glorious innings at Edgbaston last June. Extra bounce, smashes into Hussein's bottom hand.
Well, if you thought he was a bit reluctant to play forward before, well, after that delivery, he'll be even more reluctant.
That's hurt Hussein a lot. John Embry will well remember England's skipper Graham Gooch sustaining a broken finger at the vital stage of an England tour out here. Stewart wanting two. Hussein responds to the call. There's some pretty tedious cricket in the Caribbean last winter, with some very flat, slow and low pitches. We've gone from the sublime to the ridiculous, Michael.
After last season, they decided they wanted to make some changes to the pitches, but I don't think this is quite what was expected.
Stewart going for the pull shot. There'll be two more here. Like gold dust, these runs for England.
There's a lot of breathless people around the place, and I don't mean because they've been charging up and down stairs. I mean because they've been watching what has been the most extraordinary first half an hour of a test match. You could imagine all the conjecture about the pitch and all the concern proved spot on. It's poor and incredibly difficult to bat on, and all of that is exaggerated by the enormous height of these two West Indian fast bowlers, their great experience as well. Oh, well done. Well done, Carl Hooper. He's one of the really good catchers in the world game. Ambrose is on mark. Hussein is on way to the pavilion.
Well, this is a fine catch. Very low. Carl Hooper doesn't drop many. Nasser Hussain, maybe the bat open a little bit, but he's gone for one, and it's 9 for 3. You're in a terrible state of mind out there. You're playing on a wicket that's really a substandard. There's no other word for it. You can prepare as much as you want. You can do all the practice. You can get yourselves as fit as you like. But you just don't expect to have to play on a corrugated roof.
Well, the development of the game, I mean, it's such early days, and already one team expects every ball to explode. Nicely done from Stewart. He didn't quite get it, but this is a fast outfield. Chase from Chanderpaul, and an effective one as well.
Well, this is always a nice feeling, particularly on a wicket like this when you get a ball with a bit of width. You've still got to hit it though, and Alex Stewart kept his eye on it. Didn't quite get it out of the middle.
Walsh to Thorpe. Now, Graham Thorpe was bowled out by a ball that kept very low in the corresponding match 4 years ago in the second innings. He is the pivotal man here for England, in outstanding form, very well organised mentally, and being a left-hander will definitely be an advantage against these two great bowlers. Sure that was quite there for Graham Thorpe to pull.
He's playing a sort of whip shot with it, but that's hit him on the wrist, and I reckon that will be a little bit sore.
For the fourth time we say good morning to Wayne Morton, the England physio, who's going to have to keep busy and will be relieved he's as fit as he is. Jog after jog to the middle to treat players. Up in the George Headley stand, Mark Ramprakash has decided to take a higher view of things. The dressing rooms here are down at ground level. Ramprakash, who hasn't yet played in a first-class match on the tour. I wonder if the way to come to the crease now, I mean, there's just a tendency, isn't there, to think only of survival when you see the ball misbehaving like this. Should the England players be thinking much more of attack than they would normally?
And I think you've got to take advantage of any bad balls you get on a wicket like this, and I think anything over pitched you certainly launch into, and anything with width you'd be looking to attack.
Well played. That is very, very well played. That's caused him great pain. He's in trouble here, Stuart. He got a bad blow on the shoulder right at the top of the programme, and he's had a stinker of a blow to that left hand. Wayne Morton, no, we made a joke of it a minute ago, but he's on his way out again, and Jimmy Adams is concerned too for Alex Stewart. Jeepers, that was another horrific delivery.
Well, this wouldn't surprise me if that's done some serious damage. You have to feel sorry for the England boys. You can do all the preparation in the world, and there's nothing you can do about playing on something like this. Well, I just think that you've got to use a bit of common sense here. This is meant to be an even contest, Test cricket. To be quite I was lucky enough to be skiing a couple of weeks ago, and I was skiing on bigger moguls that were nowhere near the size of the ones on that wicket. It really is uneven. If you stand sideways, it's almost like a sea, rolling waves down through it. And if you hit the upslope, the ball climbs. If you hit the downslope, it goes straight along the ground.
It's a discussion. I wonder what Thorpe's saying. Something like, listen, Venkat, old pal, how about we all go and have a cup of tea and talk about this?
I think all forms of bribery will be attempted out there at this moment in time.
It's the second horrific blow to his body. He has a history of injuries to his right hand. Oh, my Lord. Jeez. 4 byes signalled over the wicketkeeper's head from a ball so pitched up that Alex Stewart was playing forward to it. I'm sorry, but this is a complete joke.
Well, a little bit of conversation there between the two batsmen, Courtney Ambrose, and I think even Courtney Ambrose is starting to wonder what he's meant to do on a wicket like this.
I tell you what I think is a relief is that there's some humour between the players. I think they're both well aware of the impossible nature. Look at that. That's not far off half volley. It's certainly a full length. By Ambrose standards, it's a very full length. David Williams may not be a tall man, but even a tall man had no chance of doing much about that. And that one goes about shin high. Complete nightmare. Played again, and more pain. It's an endless catalogue of mishaps and agony. It's 17 to 3. I think they all feel, Ian, that this isn't a proper game.
No, and also the other thing is no bowler wants to seriously injure a batsman, and fair enough, if a bowler bowls a quick bouncer and a batsman attempts the hook shot and gets hit, well, that's fine. That's part of the game. But when you're pushing forward to a length ball and it hits you in the throat, then no player wants to be involved in that. And I think there's a genuine concern for it out there. This wicket is simply a disgrace.
Venkat is on the phone to Barry Jarman, who is the match referee here. There's concern on the face of the reserve umpire and Barry Jarman, former Australian wicket-keeper in the 60s, followed into the gloves of Wally Grout. And another ridiculous delivery. Really, I don't think that they should continue now. Well, here comes Wayne Morton again. Here comes Venkat to talk to Steve Buckner. And I imagine that it can't be long before we have a meeting between Michael Atherton, Barry Jarman, hopefully, the match referee. Gee, we're going to have a problem here with the match authorities. I wonder what the Board of Control here in Jamaica are going to make of things. I wonder what the West Indian Board of Control are going to make of things. We have a signal from the umpires now. It looks to me as if they're asking for the ground staff.
Well, I think quite simply that this should be called abandoned. The wicket is not worthy of any kind of cricket. Someone is going to get seriously hurt, and that is not what professional sport's about.
I think Barry Jarman's been called out. Yeah, he has. He's been called out to come and have a chat with both the umpires and presumably both captains. Play got underway on schedule at 5 minutes past 10. Michael Atherton won the toss and elected to bat first. He felt that it would be the best of the pitch, primarily I think because he thought that it would keep much lower later. Everybody realised there would be some uneven bounce about. Let's have a look at some of it.
Eric Stewart taking a severe blow there. The very third ball of the morning went flying past Mike Atherton's shoulder, so we had an idea what was coming. And you can see this is bouncing from just short of a length. And then you get one that doesn't bounce at all.
Well, what we haven't seen... That was in the first over bowl by Ambrose, and it slammed into the shoulder of Alex Stewart. That's the end of Michael Atherton, caught in the gully by Sherwin Campbell.
Well, just how do you play it? It's times like this you think, thank goodness I've retired.
The players anyway are going to leave the field. But as things stand now, everybody has to take stock in the calmness of the cool in the dressing room.
Yes, and I think that's where this discussion should be held in there. It shouldn't be held in the middle of the pitch. And I think the right thing's been done. But it is without doubt something that had to be done. You can't blame the players. They didn't prepare the wicket.
After a lengthy deliberation, the umpires and the match referee came to the conclusion that the match couldn't continue. For the record, this is how the hour's play finished. England 17 for 3, and unfortunately for Atherton, Butcher and Hussain, their test averages will suffer, while Courtney Walsh now equals Dennis Lilly's 355 test wickets. For the first time in cricket history, a test match had been abandoned on the first day because of a dangerous pitch.
Afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Pat Rousseau, the president of the West Indies Cricket Board. I want to make a brief statement on the match today and to say that we at the West Indies Cricket Board deeply regret the abandonment of the test match today and the inconvenience it has caused to all of them, all the people present. The umpires have taken the decision that the pitch is unfit and dangerous to the players, and therefore have decided to abandon the match. It is their decision under the rules. The two captains were consulted and agreed that the pitch was unfit for play. Our apologies to our sponsors, to the media, to all the members of the public, in particular to the visitors from overseas, and to the local patrons, and our regret to the two teams.
Well, the media reports are one thing, but what our opinion was that the pitch was suitable for a test match. I can't understand the media reports because I don't know if they played on it at all before. We made every effort to prepare the pitch in the normal manner, and we felt that the pitch would have played properly.
What did the captain say?
The captains were asked by the umpires as to their view of the pitch, and they both concurred with the umpires' decision. The finality is the one to take, and both captains said that they thought the pitch was unfit and dangerous for the safety of the players.
Well, it was pretty obvious that the wicket wasn't too good, but it was the end of the third over that Venkat got in touch and said, "What do you think?" And I said, "I think it's horrific." I said, "But you do what you want to do because you'll get support from me." And even at that early stage, I thought it was horrific because it's not so bad if the wicket is consistently, the ball is rising consistently or keeping low consistently. We can't worry about that. But when one ball goes past your ear or hits you in the shoulder or whatever, and the next ball hits you in the ankle, that's when it's impossible to be able to play.
It was clear before the game that the pitch was uneven and corrugated, and it was clear that it would only get worse. You know, we would probably, by winning the toss, have the best of the conditions first up. But, you know, the West Indies turn would have come to bat, and I'm sure the conditions would have deteriorated.
What was more important was that Venkat, the umpire, came to me and said that we have to have a chat at the water break, or if not at the water break, at the luncheon period. And he's one of the officials that can make a decision on the state of the match. And I think I appreciated that more. I think the umpires were in charge. I know Mike came out onto the field, and I came on at the water break. And that's the time we got together, the four of us, plus the match referee, to decide on the state of the pitch.
I think everybody's got away unscathed, but that was the prime consideration, not only for me, but for the umpires and the match referee, that the safety of the players is of paramount importance.
Well, you always fear for batsmen's safety, particularly on a wicket that's behaving perhaps a bit like it's seemed to be doing this morning. There's medals for bravery to be taken, but at the end of the day, you know, everybody wants to play on a level playing field. We've got a very, very well prepared squad, and we want to be able to carry them through the West Indies for them all to play.
Is this match likely to be rescheduled?
We have to look at it. We have to look at the schedule and decide when we can fit in the match. The aim is to play 5 test matches, so we're going to have a look at the schedule as soon as we're finished here.
Well, a decision has now been made about rescheduling this match. It will be played in Trinidad before the second test match there, and will start next Thursday. But for now, from a subdued Sabina Park, good night.